backups. So we have a Tech.Provoke.
Вот и неправда. Это как
So that's
маленький
not
ребенок
true.
контролирует все и вся. Мораль, какие-то нормы. Их сложно кодировать.
Кто-то хотел барьер будем грести.
Надеюсь, у вас не устанут руки хлопать.
У нас будет такой а-ля вдуть. Спасибо за ваши бурные
Thank you
овации.
for your applause.
Ребята реально сделали
So
классный
the
ролик.
guys really
И
created
когда
a
недавно
great
мне его
video,
показали,
and when they showed it to me,
мне было дико приятно.
I was really flattered.
Вкусная нарезочка. У нас сегодня вторая серия
So we have a
скажем так,
second
откровенного
session
разговора
of very
про это.
open
Как
discussion
обычная
and
идея
frank
в наши
discussion.
воспаленные умы
So the
пришла,
idea
когда мы наблюдали
came to
за
us
сессиями,
when we watched the
сессии,
sessions.
которые...
The
Вообще мы любим
session,
наблюдать за
actually,
миром, да,
we
что
really
сейчас
like
происходит. Огромный
looking at the world.
очередной бум бизнес-образования.
Now we
Опять
have
все
a boom of
вдарились,
business
значит, в
education.
изучение, а теперь
Everybody
только окрас
started
более
studying
инновационный.
something,
В том числе
but
и в России
some of the programs
запускают
have become
различные
more
программы
innovative.
стимулирования венчурного
There are
рынка.
new programs that stimulate
Ну,
venture
здесь тоже
markets
ожидаем, что
here in
сейчас
Russia.
понабегут ангелы,
And we actually wait that business angels would come and the entrepreneurs would come.
За
I would tell
последние
you
полтора года
something
я
more.
лично,
For the
общаясь с
past
стартапами, очень часто
18 months,
встречал 5
I've met
сумасшедших.
five
Ну, действительно сумасшедших,
people,
которых надо вот
and they are
забрать в
absolutely
клинику.
crazy.
Я это
They should be
понимал
taken to
примерно
an
через
asylum.
20-30 секунд.
I
Потому
realized
что,
it like
когда
after
предприниматель
10 or
рассказывает, он
20
всегда горит
seconds.
своей идеей, у него
And the
глаза
entrepreneur
горят.
is has such bright
Когда
eyes
он
because he's like
переходит к сути,
he very
ну,
likes the
например,
idea.
последний мне
And
рассказывал,
when
что он научит
they
машину
come
летать. Окей, ну,
to
в принципе, теоретически
to
это
discuss
возможно.
their ideas,
Я, значит,
and one of them told me
ничего не
that
подозревая, у него
he will
спрашиваю, ну,
teach
объясни мне,
a
как? Он
car
говорит,
to
ну,
fly.
смотрите,
When I
мы
asked
вокруг сделаем
why,
кольцо
so we would
светодиодов,
create
оно сильно будет крутиться, и оно полетит.
a circle of
В чем мне в этом
light
случае дело?
diodes,
То
and
есть я
then it would
понимаю,
fly.
что у нас
Of course, I
вот это
understand
вот инновационное давление, да,
that this
извне,
innovative pressure
людей немножко уже сводит с ума.
actually makes people
И,
crazy.
На эти темы мы сегодня хотели бы поговорить.
And we would like to
Причем
speak about
взяли
these
различные индустрии,
subjects.
не
We
только
have covered different
классические
industries, not
технические
only the
стартапы, но и
classical
с
technical
удивлением, общаясь с
startups,
ребятами, я
but
обнаружил, что и в
I
других
also realized that in other
индустриях есть такие же
industries there are
проблемы.
similar problems.
Начнем мы
So we will
с
start with
чувака, который
person
несколько лет назад
who
заставил нас всех
years ago
смотреть какую-то
made us
фигню, извините меня,
watch
ютубовскую, и ржать над
absolutely
ней.
strange
смотрел
videos on
100-500?
YouTube. Who have watched the
Да
TV
все
show,
смотрели, ну смотрите.
his TV show, the TV show by Mr.
Вот
Lavrov?
этот парень, который, смотрите,
So this
чувак со сложной
guy
дикцией, с
with
какими-то
bad,
болтами в ушах, показывает нам вот эти
pronunciation
вот ляпы
shows
ролики, и мы
us
все ржем.
like strange videos, and we
Вообще,
are
вообще
all
никто
laugh.
никого не заставлял смотреть,
Actually,
просто дурной
nobody
пример заразителя.
made
В общем, это Миша Орлов, похлопайте ему еще раз.
watch them.
Человек, который придумал и
So this
притянул
is
нас всех
Mikhail Orlov. So this is the person who
к экранам. Миш,
made
вообще, как
us
тебе
stay
эта
before the
идея пришла в
screens.
голову?
So how did this idea come to your head? So this was on the surface. It was not fortuitous, was not by chance. In 2010, we started our Karamba TV and our TV show. Then we sold it to another channel, which is called STS. And then we launched a Startup of the Year. So actually, the media projects also can be good startups, and they can receive very prestigious awards. So this actually moved me one step closer to Zuckerberg. How did it come? So any good idea comes when you want to do something cool. So when you start thinking about something difficult, then this difficult thing is, well, not very popular, then you need to create something simple, and then you have a chance to become successful. We haven't created any like circle. So we just took the show from America, we adapted it, we added some new features. So any project should be actually adapted in the right way. For the past years, we have watched different series on TV, which were the Russian copies of the Western TV series, and they didn't work. So, but our idea worked because we adapted it. So I understand when it comes to technological startups, I can tell you in details how it comes in Skolkovo here. But how does it happen in your industry? So you have created a great idea. You have created a copy enriched by your ideas. So where do you go with it? Now I go to myself, of course. So, okay, where did you go before? Actually, we wanted to create a project which, as it seems to us, that's something that doesn't exist now. So at that time, so TV was not the right choice. In 2011, it was strange to have the content, your content on TV and not on YouTube. Now the market of bloggers and of influencers has become more widespread and more rich. So that's why we came to the place which would be interesting to us and where we would get money. So we have created this monetization mechanism. So when we first came to the ads agencies, they told us they would not pay us so much because we were like saying bad words and etc. So now you have to pay 1,200,000 rubles, yes, to get in the show. Yes, if you want to get to our show, you need to pay this money. So if you want to create something good, so then you will have to pay more for the production. Some expats come to us, and or some pyramids, and they we usually send them back. So we don't cooperate with pyramids, money pyramids. We don't cooperate with some other bad companies. So, despite the money they offer us. So, it's the question of the respect for your audience. Though we say bad words, we still have some, honesty and pride. So, you need to pay $1 million. So, we have a blanket against the background of which we present. So we actually took this. We had a very funny story when we started our TV show. We started doing some experiments, and we took a studio, and we start shooting against these blankets, and a lot of friends actually sent some claims to the head of the channel. Why are you doing this? Why we have to listen to your swearing? And then we posted on the internet. So by the way, can I swear here? No, you can't do this. So we just shouted Max, bad words, get back the blanket. So we have created a special video on the return of this blanket. So we didn't manage to return this blanket. we didn't manage to create something cool with it. So we are quite old school, but we still are on the internet. So let's applaud to Mikhail. So you are a real Zuckerberg. You are a positive Zuckerberg in my own rating, because really, when you can monetize such things, so that's really a challenge. I will tell you about the story about Zuckerbergs. So I sold the Caramba to another channel. So now I create the TV series for the TV channel. But as media has some kind of interesting story, if there is a good idea, if you want to create it, if you want to do something cool without doing anything else, then well, if you want to create a video blog for yourself, then it works. So on Caramba, we had quite a lot of cases when the people who created the show, technical staff, became very popular video bloggers. So Eugene started doing his show. He has now 3 million subscribers. Now he has his own team. Jan, who also dealt with technical stuff, now he deals with topless projects. So the number of contracts well, on ads is enormous, so you can't get your ads to his channel in 6 months. So people who deal with the video blogging, whom we helped or who started developing themselves, well, they sometimes become their own project. They have 3 to 4 people in their team. Just imagine. So the video blogger is a person who does their own project and who can do anything. So they have now their whole teams who work on their projects. So we started in a small team, and then it's developed into a very cool industry. So the video blogger is the profession of the future, I would say. Thank you, Mikhail. Now we are going to dwell on the same industry, on the media, and I want to introduce Valery Drobich, who is the founder of Startup Music. Please applause. Please don't ask why he has such a surname. So it was. So you see, there is a boom of innovation, and there is a boom of rap, of rappers. So these new entrepreneurs, and we can call rappers entrepreneurs, there are quite a lot of problems with these rap singers. So let's start with the following thing. What do you think? So good day to everyone, of course. How much do you think how much music is put on Vkontakte, so the social network, in the format of UGC, so which does not belong to anyone. So when people just write music and they put it on social networks, well, every day, how much? How many songs? Is it 1 million a day? No. Tens of thousands a day? 100,000, 150. Well, this is the first problem. 100,000 songs are put on the network, but if we look deeper, so every day 100,000 songs are put on the social media. So at least 10% of these people want to become the next famous singers. So I guess about 10%. They really want to reach the level when they will be able not only to gain some money, but initially all the artists, all the people who work in showbiz, they started this way. So about 10,000 people every day really want to achieve something. Some of them manage to get to the record companies. They live in a very strange atmosphere. They work with absolutely strange people, and they set you the parameters which are extremely difficult. So you see, I've created such an album. So, and I hear this person and say, well, that's cool. So what do we start with? Let's start with 500,000 rubles. Well, and who are you? I am from Dnepropetrovsk. So this person came from this Russian province. So you see, I want to go with my girlfriend to Bali. So one question is, where is the business? So you don't want to continue, you just want to take the money and to go to Bali.
Причем в прямом и в переносном смысле.
Да, и улететь во всех пространствах. И в основном, вот насколько это смешно может звучать и нелепо, но в основном это процентов 60-70 вот такого вот бреда в основном.
So this is what the situation is like here. So people finally get this money because of this boom for young artists. So there is a great demand for young artists.
And so you're given an office, and once you found a new composer, give an offer and offer a tour to Bali, maybe to Amsterdam to a producer center coffee shop. And our offers are really unprepared. And they don't understand all the financial aspects, they cannot calculate. And in fact, we have plenty of talented guys, and difficult to sort out all of them. And we had to be talking and socializing with the young guys like Anton, the ones who are existing in the innovative area, to identify certain parameters, to do something that to pick up out of these 100,000 pieces of music, to filter something what can be interesting for the spectators. Like in Contact, around 100 million users are registered, and the ones who listen to the music, it's around 60 million people, and they're listening actively. And maybe the guy who got on high and wrote such an incredible piece of music, and I have a story, and I bought one public, and you cannot buy a public and with the account who created it. And once you open the list of pieces of music that the person has, around 500 different pieces of music, I know 10 performers from Ukraine, but none apart from 10 performers I know anyone. So this is no name, and Ukrainian and Russian no name from the regions absolutely unknown, unfamous. And Valery, look, perhaps who engage in music, are there any composers, music writers here? Maybe they will write something interesting. What is the procedure? And the same question that Michael asked, where to go, where to post it, are there any marketplaces for these pieces of music that you composed? And maybe you come there, you notice me and invite me for the hearing. And we will have an IPEX representative today. But he's not with us yet, and this is one new platform where everything can be licensed and then legally issued. The most important thing for the young composer is to realize that initially, out of 100,000 pieces of unclaimed content, they need to agree with the partners. It can be a major company like major Sony, Warner, and young entrepreneurs like us. But the most importantly is to find your own partner who will be close to you, who will have faith in you and legally issue your music. Your music will be registered at all the digital platforms, Apple Music, etc., YouTube including, and all the public places. This is the first move. Once you wrote a song, you need to do this move, because then you will be noticed, you will be spotted by others, and then you will be able to monetize and then progress as a full-scale artist. Maybe it took you 5 minutes to write a piece of music, and it can work. And some American composers, if you listen to their music, but they really make more than $1 million for one concert, but they write so fast, and they have the sound director sitting next to them, and they also have a mic. They're writing their music, and you can hear the sound director is clicking the mouse, and they are not so obsessed with it. The time when so complicated procedure was there is gone. Now it can be 5 minutes, it can take 5 minutes and write a hit music and make a lot of money, but you need to take right moves, and there are platforms that license all these and help young composers and artists. Yesterday, within 40, who attended the session from 10 to 11? Remember, it took 40 minutes for our guys to write the hit music for about Skolkovo, and I'm still hamming it. And there is a structure in the melody that it is already tested. It is tried on multiple performers, and so somehow gets stuck in our brain. And they took a very simple harmony, but it is easy to hum it. And I will show you. Let us, thank you for your ideas. Let us move on and switch to more understandable scale-to-me technology. And I would like to introduce Alena Drobышevskaya. And it's an interesting position in KPMG. Let me read it out for you. She is the head of business area Smart Technology. Alena, would you please clarify what kind of business area and what are the goals and objectives, and how does it correlate with startups? Good day, good morning, I don't know. Probably it's a good day, and I feel a bit strange in this audience because you talk about creativity, music, and now you switch to technologies, and we are sitting like on the list, and from shortest last name to the longest last name in that sequence. And the fact that I'm here, it correlates very much with startups and innovation, with these smart technologies. KPMG, I don't know whether the audience is aware of this company. This is the oldest consultancy that initially was engaged in audit and taxes. Who knows KPMG? Who knows KPMG? The audience knows it. Okay, at a certain point of time, KPMG started to expand the business, and they started to get engaged in the management consulting, strategic consulting. This is the old school business still. It's like dress code, suit and tie and polished shoes, and this is a certain style at the market. And at a certain point, the whole market is changing, and the companies like us, the big three, big four, they started to get changed, to catch up with the market. And what is happening with us? What is happening with our team? We are like a startup within KPMG. We are doing only smart technology, science, and IoT, sensors, drones that fly and that we program, the smart cameras that shoot, and deep data analytics. I have scientists from Yandex employed in my team. This is a startup full scale inside KPMG. And apart from it, it's interesting to know that KPMG, we are helping our customers, the top customers, both in Russia and across the globe, to tackle their task. And we understand this innovative feature that we're trying to bring up within our company. It is required for our customers as well, and we are ready to do it. That's why we're here. We're ready to cooperate with Skolkovo, with startups. So the interesting technological solutions and startup solutions to be implemented in our business. And may I ask a question? Look, KPMG, it's been in the market, it's like a Zeus, and there's a big four. It's been at the market for many years, many countries. We have standard floor of very prestigious, biggest companies in the world. And this is a spin-off. You are trying to separate, to spin off towards startups. Is it an attempt to reach new markets? Does it mean that KPMG is running out of money? What is the indication? And it's more like an attempt to help customers to progress further, new markets. KPMG is growing even at the Russian market for fourth year in a row. It's more than 10% growth per year. Last year we had 12% growth, and no growth is possible without new customers. And surprisingly or not, whether you follow the market or not, the major growth happens at the consulting market. Audit is shrinking. And on the one hand, we're trying to grow by ourselves and get developed by ourselves. Why this is happening? Because this is what we hear from our customers. And when the auditors' services are offered to them, they want to see something new in it, innovative, digital. And initially, this is my practice on smart technologies is inside the IT consulting information technology. This is not surprising, but if we take a look on how these practices is changing inside, back then we started from IT audits. We were just checking, verifying what the people are doing. Then we switched to IT consulting and strategy, what to do next, what kind of systems to pick, how to automate. And then we are switching to the phase of these kind of projects, digital strategies, innovative strategies, transformational strategies. If we don't understand what it means, if we don't have people who can say, this technology will work and this is not, and then we will not be able to consult other people. That's why developing such practices inside KPMG, this is a response to what is happening at the market nowadays. And answering your question, this is happening everywhere, not just big four, big three, but it can be funny, but in data science practices, we play at a certain particular market, but KPMG, the competitors are big three, BCG, McKinsey, and once again, we are talking about data science projects, not the projects in the area of management strategic consulting. This is what is happening at the market. The big players, they are listening, they are engaged in it as well, and everything is all together. We're trying to develop our business and our customers' business. We're trying to develop, we're listening to each other and respect each other. Alona, for sure. We have startups here. Who is startup? Please come to the slide side. And how can you be helpful to the startups, you personally and KPMG as a company? Personally, myself, I want to have a conversation, but I'm not a startup by myself. I'm a startup inside big corporations. But before KPMG, I worked for Microsoft, and then I worked in Oracle. I'm a very technology-oriented person. I worked in big companies, but how KPMG can help? It's quite of interesting point, and we jointly with Skolkovo decided that we are keen on developing startups, and we are launching a new competition, LinkedIn platform. The competition will start at the end of July. It will be a tech startup competition contest. We will have a narrow focus. We are talking about our customers, about our clients. It's either streamlining their businesses or new digital channels or new ways to operate with the customers. And we will have a contest of tech startups. We will have a jury. We will have a mentor support program jointly with Skolkovo. Our experts and experts from Skolkovo will work together. We will choose 10 most interesting startups. They will be presented here in the end of October, open innovations, and we will support these startups. And the winners, we will be investing in them. We're ready to integrate their solutions in our consulting and bring it not just to the Russian market, but to international markets. And we will decide where we will send them, and we will make a meeting of our international offices to expand this market. We're very much keen on startups. Where to take them? Valery can give you recommendations on the countries where to take them. And with regards to the major prize, I'm very pleased to get to know that this is not like 500,000 will be invested in you, or maybe grant eaters. They are not going to be grant eaters that come to startup contests. But the motivation that they will be presented at Open Innovations, this is the second largest conference in Skolkovo, 20,000 participants, all major companies are participating in it, both Russian and international. And I believe this is a very significant prize, and we want to thank you for this approach, for this prize and bonus that you prepared for the winners. Thanks for choosing us as partners. This is not a product placement, but still we urge everyone and follow up and make your offers and participate. Let us just discuss a little bit of international experience, because most of the startups, they have a goal to scale up. And I'm often asked, what are the accelerators, international accelerators to submit to, where to search for the support. And I want to individually thank the Franz Simovic, who came from New York to us. He's the managing director, CEO of the biggest Noma accelerator. Let's give a hand to him. Francis, she came from some other session that finished at 11, and she managed to come to us. The major question that I want to ask to you, and please share your experience and e-conversion. What is the percentage of adequate startups that you take, and how do you evaluate their fitness, and how do you assess the success of your accelerator? And maybe you can give us a percentage. And what is the percentage of adequate ones that you choose? And how many stories, how many pilots that you get as a result?
Great, thank you so much. I'm going to speak in English, so I apologize if you can't hear me.
Мы все знаем английский язык.
Great. So I actually really like that we are also having a discussion about music, because I have an opera background, and my hobby in New York is musical improvised comedy. So I love the creative perspective. But I run an accelerator in New York, despite my background. We work primarily with international companies, so companies that come from all over the world. We've had companies from Ukraine, Germany, Mexico, Israel, Canada. And so for us, it's really about finding the best entrepreneurs on a global scale. And that means a few things. We receive, for each one of our accelerator programs, and we run them 3 times per year, between 500 to 800 applications, and we choose between 4 to maximum 12 per cohort. So it's a very small percentage. And the reason why is because it has, there's 3 key factors for us that gives us the signal that this company is actually ready to scale internationally. First is potential product market fit for the US. So many of our applications and a lot of the companies I speak to are only solving a problem that makes sense in their home market. And so I think a lot of early entrepreneurs, while you do need to be figuring out what are the problems and then building solutions, if they know that they want to be a huge global scalable business, are not necessarily thinking or doing the research on, okay, is this a problem that I'm solving here in Moscow or Skolkovo? Well, will this also apply to the US or to Asia or to Latin America? And so from the very beginning, thinking about a global perspective is great. A lot of our companies, we had a company from India who is in the supply chain. They actually just closed their Series B. Before they even applied to our program, before they had even had a presence in the US, they knew that the US was their key market and were already incorporated as a Delaware C. So they knew from the very beginning that they were going to be a big global brand. The second is timing for the US. A lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of thinking that the US is going to be the land of opportunity, which it is, but it's also a super crowded, competitive market. So all of the decision makers at the corporates and the businesses that you are trying to reach, like maybe KPMG, they are also getting so many inquiries from startups. They're all getting so much noise that it can take you even longer to close your first sale. So having enough resources in place, so that's why most of our companies are post-seed or post-Series A or pre-Series B, because it's just a very capital-intensive market to operate in. And many US investors are not going to invest in an international company until they see proof of traction and market fit in the US. So closing your first sales is the most key thing, and then you can open up your round, but you need enough capital to be able to do that. And then also from a competitive landscape, like I see a lot of companies that apply to my program where maybe we already have a huge competitor in the US that has raised 100 million and has all of the market share. Probably the US is then not the best market for you to expand to, and you should be thinking about, are there other markets where that makes sense, or is there another bit of value that you can provide, or maybe take the mid-market companies if there's someone that's dominating enterprise. And the last thing is, of course, team, right? So we work with teams at the end of the day and want to support founders that we want to work with, and I don't like working with people that are jerks. And really, that has a lot to do with ego. I almost never accept a company if in the selection process they are like, we are the best company, we're going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg, we're going to make all the money. I don't want to work with that person. For me, the founders that have the most self-awareness, that can come to me in the selection process and tell me, like, this is terrible, this isn't working, I don't know how to do this, I have no idea how to manage my co-founder relationship, or whatever it is, those are the companies that we're excited to support, because then we know exactly where we can help them. So that is what we look for.
Thank you very much, Francis, for checking the English language of all those present here. For me, it was also a challenge. But I can say that I understood quite a lot. So the question, are there any startups from Russia? I've heard that one of the criteria is the scalability to the United States. Are there any startups from Russia?
I mean, we definitely have had some good companies from Russia apply to the program in the past. We haven't had any companies that have gone through. We actually offered to a Russian company in the past, and they did not accept our offer to come to New York because they had visa issues at the time, which can also be a challenge. Like, immigration for my founders is a really challenging aspect. But I'm excited to meet more entrepreneurs while I'm here. I had a few meetings yesterday, so I have a few this afternoon, and hoping to find some companies that can scale internationally.
Да, я видел как раз в комнате спикеров тебя сидящие с некоторыми резидентами.
Yes, I've seen us,
Расскажи,
like
пожалуйста, об
you were sitting
интерфейсе. То есть, если
with one of the
ты здесь
speakers'
нашла какой-то
room.
стартап,
So if you want,
идея, ты
well, if you
обнаружила,
saw
что
a
он весьма
startup and you
scalable
understand
на
that
рынке
this is a
США,
scalable
но
project for the United
денег
States,
у них-то
but
особо
they
на
don't really
передвижение
have
нет, то
much
есть на
money for
релокацию. Да,
relocation
они
or for
готовы
immigration. Of course,
выгрузить
yes,
команду
they
в
are
США,
ready
готовы
to
выселиться к вам в
relocate their company
акселератор.
to the United States. In this case, do you have some kind of program of like help for these people who don't have much money?
Not really, not for us here. I mean, what my recommendation is always for those companies is to double down on their sales efforts in their home market to build out more traction. Because if something's also not working in your home market and you don't have customers buying it yet or investors aren't looking to invest in it, that is also maybe an indication that there's not good product market fit. So really, like, the US market can kill a company if they come too soon because you can't survive, it's too expensive, and so I, in good conscience, could never take a company to the US that isn't ready. But I'm happy to connect you to other partners and people around the world or in the ecosystems if I can, so that you can continue to build. And I stay in touch with companies that I speak with that it's not the right timing now, but a lot of times 6 months to a year, it is the right timing for them to come to the US. And I'm always happy to have that conversation and then to consider them at that time.
Did I get it right that this company is not a product solution fit, but product market fit? What kind of revenue, if you look at the revenue of the company, what revenue should the company have for today so that you would consider it, so it would confirm that it's, well, the product market fit?
Yeah, so most of our companies have raised on the low end 500,000. Most of them have raised already between 1 to, on the high end, like 15 million, or generating revenue already anywhere between, again, on the low end, like 500,000 to $1 million annually recurring, with the average between probably like 1 to 5 million annually recurring. But then we've had companies like, we had a company from the Ukraine who was making around 20 million annually recurring when he came through the program. So, but I would say on the low end, having at least around 500,000 to $1 million in sales or funding, you're probably in a decent place to at least be in the US market for 6 months.
Well, Francis, I guess I have one example. So to your left, there is another speaker, so who is, about whom we are proud of. So Oleg Krivokurtsev, who is the director on development of Tech.Provoke. He is in the rating of one of the most promising entrepreneurs under 30. Oleg, thank you very much for coming here. I'm really proud to say that you are a company from Perm, so from a region far away from Moscow. So Oleg, could you tell us about how your startup started, actually? Hello, good day, everyone. Really, we are a company from Perm, so we create automated robots. So there are some industrial robots, some house robots, education robots. We are actually dealing with service robots. Our robots can communicate with people, they can speak, they can answer questions, they can, well, move without, damaging anyone. So, and this complex allows our robots to work in banks, in the shopping malls, in airports, in cinemas, and in many other places. So you can come to this robot, you can ask a question, and well, you can get an answer. So this raises the financial revenues of the companies. So we started our discussion with the people who are dreamers. So we laughed at them. But I'm concerned about it. So when I started, we called our clients and we heard the same answers as Anton said to a person who really wanted to create a flying car. So the technologies, the robots today, when we spoke about these robots, they asked us whether we are from the radio and we are making jokes of them. So the first robot was created in our garage, which was on the fringe of Perm region, quite far away. So it requires the round of applause. This is the most practical story that I brought to you here. So when it rained, it was wet. When it was cold, we had to set fire. Well, there were some strange people around us. Some of them created some furniture, etc. And they told us that we are the mini Skolkovo and you are our residents. And 1 month after we created a prototype, we sold first 10 robots after 3 months. So we put them to the banks, to the construction companies, and we managed to attract $100,000. At that point, it was passive investment. So we have created this passive investment without involving some other capital and assets. So we sold robots and we received money and then created another robot. So we faced the following situation, and I think that they would reflect our topic, the Tech.Provoke, and this is our main point. So if you want to attract attention at the service markets, so the standard marketing strategies do not work. You can't create video cameras or televisions. You can't call and sell them. So the tools of buying adverts in social networks would not work. The ads with YouTube bloggers would not work. We have quite a lot of bloggers. They have some reviews on us, but still it doesn't work. So we had to go to the media. And the story about our development on the suburbs of Perm actually impresses people. So, and we told what we were doing. So since 2015, we have had quite a lot of stories, and I want to tell them because they brought us a lot of information. So please now take your notebooks and write them down. So we have created a test bed. So the engineer came to this test bed, and we couldn't find the robots. So nobody put the robot back. So the door was open. So 50 meters away, the robot is on the traffic, on the roads. Nobody understands what is going on. So dear policeman, this is our robot. So can we take our robots away? And the policeman told us, if you get this robot again to the road, you will have 15 days in prison. So first, the story was published in the local newspapers. Then it was to the Interfax Russia, to the Russia Today, to the India Today, and to the Washington Post, to CNBC. Everybody was speaking about us for the next 3 days. That was incredible. And in this video, we have millions of views. And we realized that we need to develop this story. So then we lost, our robot lost an arm because the engineer actually lost it. Then well, the bookshelf fell on the robot, and we actually created a story that so the robot actually allowed to save the life of a child. So, but this is a fake video, you know. So, and they just created the story, but still, so this would have been a very very difficult fake video. So when the person starts thinking whether it's a fake video or not, so the long stories are spent on discussion. So people start arguing, they start discussing. So and the people from the media start understanding that this information noise starts working for you. So, and the last story here is when we came to the to an exhibition. So Sony, Samsung, Mercedes were put there. There are quite a lot of PR agencies who suggest their services. So we decided. We invite the media, but we don't know whether they would come or not. So this was very difficult because 4 years ago, a Russian person in Las Vegas, did something wrong, and he still has some problems with the policeman in Nevada. But the universe heard me, and we had the following case. One of the robots were on the road, and the sixth one was decided. So, and Tesla driver decided to put it on the autonomous regime. He looked at the screen. He tried to, to push the robot. So the robot lost its controller. It was a PT. And when I learned the situation, I realized what we need to do next. So the car stopped 50 meters later, and the person said that, I'm sorry, what we are going to do. We decided not to call the police, because it was quite dangerous, especially in Las Vegas. So we told him, go away, but still, people went on the streets, they still call the police, and I went to the video cameras, to the CCTVs. We decided to put it on the release, and it was a hype. So people started speaking about it. So CNBC, Fox News, Daily Mail, Washington Post, the key American media started working. So they asked us what kind of robot you have, so where to find it. So Tesla participated in it, and the representative of Elon Musk could not just allow it to go. And they have an autopilot. So though the autopilot was not working, but the headline said that the Tesla on autopilot pushed the robot and crashed the robot. So they explained that the autopilot cannot be on the road. So, and then the last point. Look at the video. You have a rope. I was impressed because I've seen this video for more than 10 times, and I realized I don't understand what rope is. Please put me to the second year at school. But really, it's important to put it to the media. So, and the Holy War started. Everybody started writing that they, decided to mislead us. And it appeared that we had quite a lot of traffic. There were 80 offers from all over the world, and our stand, according to the Snapchat data, actually you can do it using the Snapchat. So the furthest point was at our stand. Probably that was because of that. So, but still we have this data, and the price is 120 rubles because I had to eat a burger and because I was afraid and decided to eat something. The story with Tesla was about $200 because the controller was damaged. The robot cost 1,400 rubles. So we need to, cover this information, to cover these situations, so that the world would know about us. So we are the biggest exporter of our products in Russia. 65% of our products goes to abroad. We have the leading banks, the leading retailers, brands. I would not tell anything about them because they didn't pay me for that. So we are working with the US government. And it's really important. In the American market, you need to have an American company. So the American municipalities, now we are looking for an accelerator, but we are too old for you. So the provocation is an important part of the startup industry. To be in the in the info business, you need to be a little bit smarter than others. So this is what I call entrepreneurship. This is what I call business. In the 21st century, and we started that the video blogging is the profession of the future. So there are no companies which are successful and which are not media platforms, which not tell anything about them on the social networks, and they do not, and you need to understand that, you need to use it. So this is what I really wanted to tell, and that's it.
Это очень крутая познавательная
This is
история,
a great
но мы
story,
пока не отпустим. Миша,
but
давай
we would not
коротко
let
вернемся к
you
тебе. Ты
go away.
как
So, Mikhail,
журналист,
you as a
не
journalist,
знаю, в прошлом точно
I'm not sure whether you
журналист-продюсер,
used to be a
вот кратко
journalist or you
расскажи,
continue
а
to
ведь
be a
все
journalist.
истории и негативного
So-
окраса, и позитивного окраса,
So,
наверное, даже
there are
негативного в
quite
большей степени,
a lot of
это
negative and
же
positive
всё играет
stories, but all of
компании в
that,
плюс.
works well for the company. So this is the question of the relevance. You can work on anything. So, all the information works for you. So for the startups, it's important to be very sincere, to speak with the audience, using the understandable language, and speaking to your clients, not just saying that we are cool and we are growing and we are participating in that of this project.
And once you begin talking to people in the language of their profit, and they begin to realize that they can benefit from it, so good dialogue is getting established. And recently, I was reading we have plenty of inspiring stories, and communication with the audience is very important for big businesses, for small businesses, for startups, for everyone. And we need to use different ways to draw attention, but not trash ones. And this is the important aspect that I wanted to bring up to your attention. You should not be very trendy. You should not use cheap mainstream. What kind of cheap mainstream? Cheap mainstream. What I mean by that? Like trash. Maybe recently we were riding on a bus and I was talking to a novice video blogger. And what to do? Do I need to do trash to become in the mainstream? I don't want even to explain what to do in front of camera to get likes. And you need to understand what is your target audience. You need to understand what your audience is keen on, what are the values, and speak in the same language. Let it be less, let it have less likes than Olga Buzova, but it will be, did she pay to you? Did Olga Buzova pay to you? We have a rule, you name only the company companies that pay to you. Olga, this is a Buzova corporation, and we should not be cheap. And with marketing tools, I would use your brain, your marketing tools every day. It's really cool. And we see the networking at work. And after this session, they will exchange their contact details. Oleg will have to wrap up, but in the end, I want you to tell us about international cases pertaining to your robot. What are the features that will be applied there on international scale? And the schools, the policemen, all these stories. And by 65%, we export our products. We supply it to 3 to 4 countries, and Far East, and then the North America, US, Canada, and then CIS countries, number 3. We have 7 major cases and areas, and we are developing new applications for our robot. Banking robot fills out all the documents and electronic use, retail. It knows everything about loyalty cards and everything about the shelf content. And airport robot prints out boarding passes, gives the parking card, and informs what to do if your luggage is lost. This is educational robot. We have 5 lab activities, how to study robotics. It is purchased by universities, and we are talking with the Moscow Technical University concierge robot that calls offices, gives passes in the building instead of security guards. And we are developing 4 more areas. And medical robot, a robot for medical institutions in the Far East. It is used. You can perform clinical studies and register for the doctor visit. Safeguard robot, policeman who Robocop who controls the public places, and if face recognition is done, if the criminal is recognized, it sends it to the database. And financial center robot, this is for Russia and CIS, when a robot is implemented and consults on information on financial services, and also home appliance as a robot. And owners of houses more than 1,000 square meters, and they need to have someone. We have many people like that with houses, total area more than 1,000. There is a butler. This is the doorman, and we are producing these kind of robots, and we cooperate with the Skolkovo. They provide wonderful tools. They provide us access to the corporations, and we cannot call, just a stranger cannot call by a robot. Skolkovo organizes exhibitions, and we put our exhibits there. If you have a startup, please don't do it. Please stop here. Guys, what on this Kazakh robot cop to finish our session, no takeaways will be done by us. You are the ones who come up with takeaways. Have a nice